Hello, everybody. Welcome to Julian Elementary. Thanks for coming to our information session tonight on the POD program. My name is Tammy Clark. I'm the assistant principal here at Julian. And Mrs. Henderson wanted me to apologize to you on her behalf that she couldn't make it. She was really hoping to see everybody tonight. Also with us, we have Mr. Barney Gordon. He's our superintendent of business services, and he can help answer any questions at the end that you might have also. And because this is a school setting and we have students present, I just ask that everybody remain masked throughout our presentation. I'm going to turn it over now to Kim Smith. She's our second grade teacher in POD.
Good evening. How are all of you this evening?
Yes.
Thank you for coming. Before we start our presentation this evening, we have 3 total, including me, our POD teachers here this evening. Our kindergarten teacher was unable to be here and she apologizes for not being able to be here. But we have our first grade teacher and we also have our third grade teacher. And as I was introduced, I am the second grade teacher within the POD. So if everybody would like to introduce themselves.
Sure. Hi, I'm Dave Judish, and this is my 18th year in the POD. I just loved it. I came over I taught quite a few years ago, and then ran a business of my own, and years ago I was in the Air Force. But this is my 18th year now with the POD, first grade.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Christina Ivesy. This is actually my first year in the POD. So, of course, I'm learning along with you guys about what the program is like. I've been really blessed to be able to be in the program this year and be able to experience all the great things that come with the program. Prior to this is my first year teaching in the POD, third grade, but it's my second year teaching. I taught first grade last year here at Julian and then accepted the third grade position. Prior to that, I worked in preschool for the district as well. So I'm really excited to continue being part of the TUSD family and then growing along with the POD family as well. It's such a wonderful program and I can't wait to see all of you and all of your children hopefully in the program and be part of the family. Okay, welcome.
And I'm Kim Smith, and I've been at Julian now. This is year 13 at Julian. I've been teaching for 20 years, and I've been in the POD now. This is year 8. I have had the privilege of not just being a POD teacher, but a POD mom, which is really fun. I've watched all 3 of my children go through the POD program and watch their relationships throughout the years as they've grown and changed, and still having those special bonds that they have with their POD teachers. They go back and still talk to them on a regular basis, and their POD peers. And so that's been fun to watch. I have one that's a senior this year, one a freshman, and one a 5th grader. And the POD is just a special place for them. And if you ask any of those former POD children, it's always magical memories and lots of growing experiences. And it's fun as a parent to be able to be involved and included in that family dynamic. So we'll go ahead and start our presentation this evening. I'm going to switch sides here so I can click the button. And you can see we have different teaching zones within the POD. And one of the things that is a little difficult to describe since you're not seeing it right now, but I will try my best. We are in a math room that is, if you were to take this room and have 4 sections with the middle room where we have kindergarten in one area, first grade in another area, second grade in another area, and third grade. Then a middle room that's like a hub where we interact throughout the day and do different activities and different things together. And as we do that, it's just a very large open space. So the first time you see it, you walk in and your eyes get big and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And it's really fun to see the students interact with each other as they can look across the way and see each other, and they see both their teaching group teacher and their home group teacher, which I will explain in just a moment. So our kindergarten registration information is right here, and it talks about the age of your child. And what it says is you need to be 5 years of age on or before September 1st, 2021 to enroll in the school year. And in a moment, we'll have another slide that gives you the exact dates as to when you're going to be able to register for kindergarten and for a specialized program like the POD. With that, we also have transitional kindergarten available, and the time frame of your child's birthday needs to be between September the 2nd and February the 2nd if they were interested in going in and being able to be in a transitional kindergarten classroom. which is another wonderful experience for students. It just gives them one more academic piece in preparing them for schooling and sets them on a really solid path. We have our school calendar for next year, and as we're looking at our school calendar, you can actually go to the TUSD website, and that is posted, and you can look at that as well. You will see that we tentatively have our time frame of what time school will be starting. And kindergarten, you'll see starts at 7:50 and it will end at 11:14. We are a morning kindergarten program within the pod. So that would be the time frame that your kindergartners would be arriving. And then the rest of the school, anyone in first through sixth grade, their day would be 8 a.m. until 2:39. Wednesdays, we have a shorter schedule, but kindergarten is not affected when you're a morning kindergarten person on that time frame. Our transportation, right now there is not a district bus transportation that is provided for Julian Elementary for the pod families living outside of our homeschool setting. So that would be where you would need to be providing transportation to ensure that your kindergartner, or what we like to say your kinder bear, arrives to school each day and is picked up each day. We have, and you can see through some of our pictures, the fundamental purpose for us is high levels of learning for all students. And within the pod, one of the things that we truly enjoy is being able to individualize the learning of a student. And when that is occurring, we see where they are, and our staff and our teachers that are in there, we're checking in, we're working with your student, and if your student is ready to jump and do a little bit more, then we're going to jump and do a little bit more with them. And if they need a little bit more firm foundation work, we're going to do that work with them. However, we need to do it, whether it's a small group or it's a one-on-one setting, we're going to work with them at the level they're at to ensure that they are at their academic top and doing the best, and they're able to achieve the standards for academic excellence. Our school site as a whole, not just the pod, but as a whole, is engineering and design. And this is a wonderful process that we have. We are able to do projects that have to do with STEM. We may be working with pod even. We do this on a regular basis, different grade levels are getting together and doing things. We had kindergarten, first, second, and third all outside, and we were all making structures and doing different things and chatting it through and going through this design process of how would you build your house? What would you do? And they're talking amongst each other and coming up with ideas. And they look at it, and it was really fun to watch them. Like, yes, I did it. And you hear them go, but wait, what if we do this? And so that's just part of that engineering and design process. They're incorporating, they're reading with it, their strategies and ideas, they're writing mathematical situations that come up with that engineering and design. So that is something that not only is going on in the pod, it's also going on throughout the entire Julian site. And it's really fun as teachers when we get to walk through and we see our sixth grade students and they are out there making and doing these amazing things. It's really fun to watch the progression as it goes. And it gets talking to each other and saying, hey, what were you doing today? That looks so cool. So that's kind of a fun thing with engineering and design. But you go through that ask, imagine, plan, create, and improve. And we are constantly doing that in the classroom setting too. We will include our students in choices that we're making because in the pod we are a family-based program. Another thing that we have that is just a huge, amazing piece of Julian is our school garden. And if you were to walk by, different classes are planting different things and they're learning as they are cultivating and growing things. They get in, they get to harvest, they're writing about it. You will see measurement tools out there in that garden. You will see ladybugs being released, various different activities that are going on within the school. And typically within the pod, third grade, that's a special activity that they do in the pod is going, and there's a planting bed for the third graders. Our curriculum, everything is aligned to the TUSD guidelines and standards in our state academics. We have solid foundational growth anywhere within the pod, and we look at all of our language arts. We're looking at our math, our science, for the next generation science, our social studies, and as we're doing that, we're incorporating it in with art and various activities. But all of our different things that we are using are all district required pieces, and then we are taking that and we are teaching them to the very best of our abilities and watching them grow, which is so fun. We also have, for all of our students, there's classroom music. The students get to go in, and if they're in, right now it's first, second, and third is where that starts, and they get to enjoy music with their music teacher once a week. And then once they get a little bit older and they're in the fourth grade, fourth, fifth, and sixth has more personalized opportunities for them. They're selecting instruments, they're doing different things, and being able to choose what it is that they are interested in with some of their music. Music is a highlight in the week, and our students enjoy that quite a bit. Technology also has played a huge role for all of us. Your kindergarten students will be using technology as well, and that is a piece where we build together and we have our students supporting each other to learn and grow and develop more, as technology definitely is front and center for all of our students in our learning. Now, our Wednesday morning openings, this usually occurs every Wednesday morning. We meet out on that large flat top area, and we get together as a Julian family. During that time frame, we're celebrating birthdays, accomplishments. We may have a special presentation. It's time for us to all be able to say our Pledge of Allegiance together, say our pledge as Julian Mustangs, and just have some family time as a Julian Mustang family all together. And that usually includes both our principal and vice principal chit-chatting, and it could be our student council talking to our students. We may have some groups come from the high school over and chat as well, or even a special assembly. So those are usually on Wednesday mornings at the start of our day. Character education plays a large role at Julian as a whole, and within the pod, we are continually character building. And with that, we use a toolbox that is within the entire TUSD school system, and we're all working on our tools, and so how we can support each other and grow with our emotional growth, our individualized growth, how we are going to handle situations and be amazing citizens. And so with that, we like to really look at all these different character traits that TUSD has identified as areas of growth that we would like to see our students working through, and also celebrating those when we see our students achieving that. We love to be able to celebrate our students, and when they shine, it is an amazing event to watch the joy when you just say, hey, I just saw you do that. And that's important to all of us, especially within the pod as we look at these in our home group settings. We work on those in home group quite a bit. I'm getting to home group in a moment. Our Julian programs and clubs, you can see we have a whole list of various things within Julian that are for the school as a whole. And then as we're looking, these would be our 4 teachers within the pod, and we've all introduced ourselves. And your student would be in home group with one teacher all 4 years. And let me get to that slide. I'll kind of get to there and we'll see how this works. So your child comes in and they have a home group teacher, and they get to spend 4 years with that home group teacher. So we really get to know each other well. They call us all by our first names, and they don't come in and call me Mrs. Smith. They come in and say, Kim, how are you? And that is just how we operate as a family dynamic. And they will call Dave by his first name and Christina and Joe by their first names. During that time frame, what's really amazing is watching them grow every day when you're seeing them. They're in kindergarten, and then they're in first grade and second grade and third grade. And when they leave, and it's like you're spreading your wings, we've had 4 years to truly get to know them. So that would be home group, and we spend a lot of time developing things. And if it's been a tough day, maybe in your second grade room, I might say, why don't you go see your home group teacher for a few minutes, and why don't you talk and just kind of reset yourself, and let's see how we can have a fabulous rest of our day. Or it may be, I want you to go tell your home group teacher what you just did. That was amazing. I cannot wait for you to share that. And we have a very solid, very strong relationship with our students that continue on after they leave the pod. With home group, currently right now, things are looking just a little different due to our current situation with COVID, but we are hoping to get back into that regular meeting on a regular basis in home group. Right now we're doing activities outside where we are continually making sure our relationships are in place with our students. After they leave home group, then they go to what is called teaching group. So for instance, if I have a child and they're in my home group every morning and we've spent time together and we've touched bases and we're just talking about life in general, or maybe we are having a social emotional lesson and we're talking about it as a group, that third grade and second grade student might be supporting the first grade and the kindergarten student. And then our time is up and I will say, reset, it's time to go, and off they go. The kindergartner then would go to Jill. The first grader would go to Dave. The second grader, they would go to me, and the third grader would go to Christina. And then we would have our teaching group time. That is where all of those standards that are for that grade level are being taught. That is the teacher you would check in with when it came to homework, or when it came to assignments, or if they were doing something that was specialized for that grade level. That would be that time frame, and they will spend all that academic time with that teacher. We do, under normal year circumstances, have times where we rotate through, where maybe it's time for, we want to give a little push, and so they may come in. We're rotating, and one group may go here, and one group may go here, and one group may go there. And we work on a standard that is a K through 3 standard, and we're doing that broken up into groups, and we try to utilize that when we can. And we are looking very forward to having that start back again when we can allow it. Our three major ideas within the pod are extended family, and that is something that if you choose to become part of the pod, you will notice you become part of the family really quickly. And you get to know the other parents that are there. I know some of my dear friends are some of my pod parents that my daughter was in kindergarten with. And so we still on a regular, she's going to graduate, and we still are close. But you just because you're together for those 4 years, you typically tend to develop relationships. Your children are developing extended family relationships. When they're in kindergarten, they have a third grade buddy, and that third grade buddy does a lot with the kindergartner so that they're learning and they're growing, and it's not us saying, this is what you need to do. The third grader then gets the responsibility with the kindergartner to support them. And then when they're first and second graders, they do the same things. Typically, Dave and I do a lot with technology and computers in first and second grade, and our second graders are supporting our first graders all the time on a regular basis. The kindergartners and the third graders, it's the same situation. So they get all that dynamic together, and they're together quite often. So as right now we're unable to do some of that when we're in the inside setting, we do try our best when it's outside settings and the weather allows us. We try our best to incorporate those situations that we can, just for where we are right now. And we're hoping to get back to how we typically do that in a very timely manner when we are allowed again. Then we also, the worth of the individual child is another component of the pod, because we formed those relationships, because we're constantly in communication with our students and having communication with parents. We are wanting to make sure that child is growing and to their very fullest potential possible, and we love to continually encourage that growth academically and socially, because we look at your child in the whole setting, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of not just your reading, writing, math, science, social studies, but also how are you verbalizing your feelings? How are we working together in our social settings? And how that looks, and how we're respectful, and how are we showing kindness? Because we feel like those are huge character traits that we want to instill in all of our Julian students. So that would be the worth of the individualized child. And then again, I mentioned earlier, individualized learning is another dynamic that we have, where we are sitting one-on-one with your children and we are working with them and looking at how we can give them exactly what they need, not just, this is what standard we're learning. Okay, this is the standard we're learning, but here's how we're going to get there, and here's how we're going to get past that, and how we can best do that to support your student. We also look at that as a team event. We usually are in regular contact with parents, and we might say, here's what we're working on. If you want to work on this, then we'll work on this. And our students know that we all work together as a team. It's family in the pod, and your student, and that just supports more growth for our students. Am I going too fast for you guys? Okay, just checking. You can see some of our activities and things we do, and there are many of our smiling faces right there. You can see them just enjoying spending time together. I will tell you right now, these children are not in the same group. They're all in different grades, and that's the joy of it. They get to interact and be together and not just be kindergarten, so that's kind of fun. And so as you look, we do have that multi-age grouping for various activities, and then we also have it with our buddies, and I mentioned that a few minutes ago. So here is our information about a little bit more about the pod. We have 24 openings for this next year. And then with that, we have priority is given to siblings of current Julian students. And there's another slide that kind of goes through how it's set up within the district. And if there are any questions for that, I'll just ask you to wait till the end for those questions. We've actually had this picture up of this family because, as we said, the pod is a family. If you look, the father in this picture was actually a pod student. And he has his youngest now is in 3rd grade in the pod, and they have all gone through the pod. They have come in and volunteered in the pod. And so it's just been so fun because we have quite a few 2nd generation families in the pod. We even have one where one pod married another pod, and now we have the next generation. So it's been really, really fun to watch as we see that occurring. And then we see the siblings coming in. And it is so fun to see the siblings coming in because they see their brother, they see their sister, and they're all excited, and the older one is excited to support. And typically they're all, in that setting together. So you see this little meeting going on, and it's just the sweetest thing. As we look, here's the information on how to apply for the pod program. And it goes through your home school. You have to register at your home school first. So if you are in the boundary lines of Julian, then Julian is your home school. If you are not, then you would want to look at what your home school site is and go through there. You're going to ask for a choice school application for the pod at your home school site. And that's really important to ensure that you take and go through each piece of that puzzle in that process, the right steps. You're going to return your completed application to the Julian office on or before Wednesday, January 26th, no later than 4 o'clock. And then there is a pod lottery that will take place on February the 2nd at 5:30 via closed Zoom. So what typically happens as soon as that lottery occurs, the office will call, typically within, I think it's the next day actually, it could be a couple days after, but typically it's the next day, and they will call, and then you will have to determine if you are planning on having your child accept that position and attend the pod. You sign some paperwork and you bring it back, and I believe you need to have that acceptance by February the 7th at 4 p.m.
This information is available online.
It should be available online, and then they are also going to put this up online, I believe, so it will be available again. And then this is where we look at that priority piece of siblings and so forth. So siblings of current and former pod students at Julian in the neighborhood are the first of the priority. And then siblings of current former pod students at Julian intra-district transfer. Siblings of current former pod students at Julian that are inter-district transfer. And then students of TUSD staff or board members, students new to Julian in the neighborhood, students new to Julian with an intra-district transfer, and students new to Julian at an inter-district transfer. So there is a priority process within the pod for the specialized program. And then I hope I was able to just briefly give you a summary of the pod and what it looks like. And we look forward to potentially seeing some of your students this next school year. So I will turn it back to you.
Great, thank you. So I want to thank Kim and Dave and Christina for coming tonight. And if you don't have any questions specifically for them, I'm gonna let them go home because I know they are into their evening with their family time. And then we can stay and answer any questions that you might have. So you guys are free to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Nice to meet you. Have a good evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
So do you guys have any questions that we can answer for you?
As far as the application goes, I've started doing it online to where I'm like uploading documents. So I go through all of that, and then the choice for the pod system is at the end, because I haven't seen a choice for that yet. Besides at the very start where you selected,
That this is your homeschool.
Yeah.
And
It showed, there wasn't, I didn't see like a specific click
For
for the
pod.
at the beginning
So,
of that process.
do you know the answer to that off the top of your
I
head?
think so. So we do have an online registration for your homeschool, so go ahead and go through that. We don't have a online registration form for the lottery for the choice applications. So once you go through that electronic registration for your child, go ahead and stop by the office of your homeschool and you can pick up that paper.
Okay.
It's important for us to not lose track of where kids are, so we try to encourage them to register at their homeschool first
Okay.
and then apply for whatever position, because some parents might apply for a Walnut and a dual immersion program and a pod at the same time, so trying to keep track of all the kids is a bit of a challenge. But once you're done with the electronic one, stop by the office at the homeschool and you can pick up that paper application.
Got it.
So that's the choice application.
The choice
that you'll do in the
application.
office.
For a pod.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, there's one choice application. It's a common choice application that you can fill out. So if you're gonna apply to multiple choice schools, which is the Wakefield dual immersion, Osborne dual immersion, Walnut magnet school, or the pod, it's a single application. If you're gonna apply to multiple ones, just get a couple of applications, fill out one for each school, then drop it off. So you drop one off here at Duane, one at Wakefield, etc. Does that make sense?
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I mean, I guess my only question would be like for a child that's real busy and very, I guess she's energetic in a way, but is this a good decision for her?
We're worrying about distraction.
Right, I think this is a good decision for almost any student. They're really good at working with the individual child and, accommodating whatever they need to accommodate. It's a highly sought after program, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is.
What are the odds? Is there something? Should we not talk about it so we don't get our hopes up?
I think you should get your hopes up, and hope for the best. This is my first year here, so I haven't gone through the whole process yet. I can't tell you exactly your odds, but I can tell you that after they go through the siblings of the pod students,
I'm sorry, they said 27 spots? Is that
24 spots.
Does that include every grade or just?
No, that's the kindergarten.
Gotcha.
So if you have a first, second, or third grader, there's a waiting list already started for that. If you're trying to go into kindergarten, then you would register at your home school and then get the choice application at your home school for the pod program. I don't quote me on this. I want to say they said they had approximately 10 siblings coming in, which leaves approximately 14 spots for everybody else on the list.
And that's why a lot of people that are interested might apply to different choice schools. We try to streamline it so all the lotteries happen on the same night, so the next day you'll know kind of where you're at. So we try to make it as easy as we could.
So what if we have a sibling here already, but not in the pod?
Then they would fall in that priority list. Let me go back. I can see right here. So they would be
New to Julie.
current former pod students at Julene. No, it would be students new to Julene. Where would that fall in? I thought it was going to be up in the
But not pod.
yeah. Siblings.
I don't think there's a priority for I think it would be the students new to Julian.
The neighborhood.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I don't think there's a priority for
yeah, so it was
Julian
specific.
City.
Along the same lines as his question, is there a type of kid that wouldn't thrive in the pod?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I've spent some time in the pod, and they're really amazing. It's just a really good group, and I think it's an ideal situation for any student.
Like a lot of one-on-one, like she said.
If it's needed, a lot of one-on-one, a lot of if they work better in pairs, they just really get to know the student and know what's best for them, and that's where they go with it.
For my concern, I feel like she needs more vigorous, more like that the preschool right now. They said if she could do more, like they'd let her do more, push her to do more. So is that what they were talking about with? Like,
Yes. They they'll assess where your child is, and then that's where they'll meet them. If your child's already reading, then they're going to encourage that while they're working one-on-one with others, and and he or she will be working with peers, doing reading together while they work with someone who might need more help. So, I know they have varying levels of skills in the students that go into. Anything else? Well, feel free to call us at the office if you have any question. If you go home and you find that there was something you didn't ask, you can email us or give us a call, or come on in and ask us any questions you might have.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.